What does his text mean?
So frustrating.
Maybe he's just not that into me.
She really likes
I've
me.
always been bad
How
at
can I
flirting.
get her attention?
I'm ready for
I just
marriage.
want somebody to share my life.
Is this
relationship
relationship
going anywhere? Modern Love Made Simple. This is Dates and Mates with Damona Hoffman.
Hello, lovers. Welcome to a very special episode of Dates and Mates. I'm your host, certified dating coach, Damona Hoffman, and I am here to make modern love simple for you. Valentine's Day is coming, and I know you're stressed. I feel your stress. And if you're staring down the possibility of spending another Valentine's Day single, I want you to know I feel your frustration. And today I want to give you tips on how you can turn your love life around quickly, by the way, and how you can also celebrate your singlehood to make this your best Valentine's Day yet. Joining me for this very special episode is PBS love expert, psychologist, and best-selling author, Dr. Diana Kirschner. Dr. Diana has helped thousands of singles and couples to find the relationship of their dreams. She has appeared in The Today Show, Good Morning America, The New York Times, Wall Street Journal, Nightline, Access Hollywood, and so much more. Her best-selling book, Love in 90 Days, which is the basis of her one-woman show on PBS TV, Finding Your Own True Love, just celebrated its 10th year of helping women all around the world, and it's being re-released with bonus content to help you find love in 90 days. So please give big smooches to Dr. Diana Kirschner.
Thank you so much, Damona. Thank you so much.
All right, love in 90 days. The clock is ticking, and I know a lot of people, I've been coaching singles for a long time as well, and a lot of people are feeling really hopeless right now, but you've seen that with your methods, people can turn their love lives around really quickly. I've seen all of your success stories. So can you give us the basic tenets of the Love in 90 Days method?
Okay, well, number one is understanding what I call your deadly dating patterns. And these are the self-sabotaging patterns that you do over and over and over again. You know, you wind up in the same position. You're dumped, you're getting crumbs, or someone leaves you or betrays you, is cheating on you. This is something you've got to understand. You have to understand what your pattern is and essentially break free of it. Number two is to actually develop what I call your high value diamond self-identity. And that's where you really feel like you deserve a fantastic, amazing partner and relationship. And number three is to actually do what I call a dating program of three, where you casually see three women or guys, and you're doing it casually. You're not getting too involved too quickly.
Whoa, wait, hold on a second, Dr. Diana, because a lot of people now are telling me that they are dating casually with dating apps. The speed of dating has increased, hasn't it?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. And so they're finding that they're dating three people, but the other person's dating three people, and the three people that they're dating are dating three more people, and everybody's dating everybody, and nobody's committing. Is this a problem that you're seeing out there in the dating world as well?
Yes, definitely that is going on. But you got to screen those people. Those three people that you're going to take on, they have to meet three criteria. Okay, number one, they're crazy about you. That's number one. They're crazy about you. They know that you're amazing and special. Number two, they're willing to grow, right? So they're going to stretch because if they're crazy about you, they're going to stretch in order to be able to be with you. Number three is that they have soulmate potential. Okay, they have the same values, the same goals, the same dreams as you do. So you want to very quickly sort through these other people who are passing through. You're swiping, on, and they're just passing through. They're just passing through. Your idea is initially to rule people out, because you want to rule out those people who are not crazy about you.
I completely agree.
You want to rule them out.
I completely agree. Yet I do hear this sort of panic from people. What if I rule out the wrong one? What do you say to those folks?
Well, the right one will hang in there even when you try to rule them out. Why? Because they're crazy about you. So they're going to fight for you, right? They're going to fight for you. So,
but I'm hearing today, I mean, I believe in that, and I believe that people are still able to make a connection. My listeners know I'm a huge fan of online dating and dating apps. That's how I met my husband, and that's one of the primary tenets of my dating system. But what I'm seeing now is so many more people have flooded the dating app and online dating market that there are a lot of folks there that aren't really serious about finding a relationship.
Yeah, that's true. Absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
especially with apps. I mean, there are people who are basically playing games. They're playing games to see how many people like them. They're just passing time, absolutely. So,
So are
you
there
got to understand what you're getting into.
Are there any guideposts or red flags then that you tell people to look out for that can help you separate those that are just there to play from those who really want to be in love in 90 days?
Well, I'll tell you, one thing that's really telling is whether they're willing to actually talk on the phone or they're just texting back and forth. A serious person wants to actually get to know you, and they want to hear your voice, or they want to see you. They're immediately interested. Even if you're a millennial, and the millennials tend to only text. The really serious ones will want to actually connect more. That's how you can tell.
I personally believe in the phone call. I do feel, however, there's definitely a difference in opinion. And as you said, millennials, they don't want to spend time on the phone. And in a
Right,
way,
they're
it's an
frightened of the phone,
imposition.
actually.
But I do feel that there is value that you get out of hearing someone's voice. And I'm really
Yes.
big into tapping into your own intuition as well. When you hear someone's voice, you can tell, is this someone that I want to spend an hour, maybe an hour and a half of my life with, right?
Exactly. Yeah, you can hear the ebb and flow. You can feel the vibe. If they're timing, they're pacing, the quality of the voice is something that attracts you or not.
Yeah.
And then also, you could also Skype or FaceTime to rule them out.
Yes, that's very popular right now. I have my own feelings about Skype and FaceTime, but I would just say if you're going to Skype or FaceTime, make sure that you prepare yourself the way you would for a date, because you don't get a second chance to make that first impression.
Yes, perfect. Yes, right on.
In the book, you also talk about building your own self-confidence, and you mentioned a little bit about having that mindset of self-worth and
Yes.
and being able to bring something into the relationship, not just looking outward for who's that person that matches me, but what am I putting into it? Do you have any exercises or techniques that you recommend when someone is coming into the process needing to boost that up a bit?
Oh, yeah, we do a lot of exercises called, these exercises are around the diamond self-identity. What's really interesting is that the part of the brain that represents you is not a static kind of part, neural net that's set in stone. It's actually changing all the time. You can actually deliberately affect that. And one of the simplest exercises we do is that we have people give themselves a nickname. And when they give themselves a nickname, beloved mighty Isis, amazing Grace, vivacious Vixen, Captain Jack.
It sounds a little silly, but it works, huh?
I'm telling you, it may sound a little silly, but it's very powerful. Celebrities name themselves all the time. They name themselves, right? And what happens? They're confident, right? Because they're in this persona. They're in this deliberately created self that is fun, that is got charisma, that's got mojo. Well, here's the thing: anybody can do that. Anybody can do that. And even though initially it may seem silly or strange, what happens is, if you really allow yourself to get into it, it's very, very interesting because you got the vibe, you got it going on.
Dr. Diana, I want to know, what's your secret code name?
Okay, my name is the Radiant Beacon of Loving Guidance.
And that's what you're doing here today on Dates and Mates. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah.
also talk about creating more love in our lives. What is meant by that?
Well, the thing is that here's the strange thing. In a love relationship, it can be better than you ever imagined. That's the weirdest part of it all. It can be better than you imagine, better than you dream, right?
Oh, I
And
believe it. I'm living it.
yes, isn't it? Isn't that the truth, Damona? Isn't that the truth?
It is. And I couldn't have drawn this relationship if I tried. It was beyond my comprehension at the time when I entered
Exactly.
into it.
Yeah, exactly. You do, you do what you need to do. You show willingness to the universe. You show willingness by jumping out there, by taking risks, right? And then the universe rewards you. It will reward you if you keep on going and you don't quit before the miracle. If you keep on going, the universe often gives you something that's amazing. Here I am married, and I'm more in love with my husband than I've ever been.
Tears, tears. I love it. That's wonderful to hear, and it's really inspiring, especially on Valentine's Day, to know that love, when you stick through it and you're with the right person, it really can blossom and grow.
Yeah.
I do want to address the fact, though, that not everybody is in that dream relationship, and I'm sure there are some people listening to this with Valentine's Day approaching saying, well, I'm with somebody, but I feel like this relationship is not filling me up in that way. How do you know if your current partner really measures up to that great love?
Well, the thing is, I mentioned the three criteria about selecting someone, and you can actually look at somebody you're with and say, look, is this person really crazy about me? If they don't appreciate me, and think I'm fantastic and, really amazing, they're not in, it's not going to work. If they're not willing to grow, that was the second thing I mentioned, they're not willing to work for making things great. It's just not going to work,
Yeah, I think there's just this feeling of investment sometimes.
Yes,
Of I'm
yes.
already in this one, so maybe I'll try and make this square peg fit in the round hole instead of having to build a whole new peg or whatever. That was not like a
Exactly.
sexual
Instead of being
reference,
alone
people.
and you think, oh my God, this is the best I could do. And, but here's the reality. Honestly, there's so many people. The upside of having all these people dating is that you can find a fantastic partner. Here's the statistics. 1 out of 3 marriages now start online, and those marriages are happier and they last longer. Why? Because there's a better match. There's a much better match. You can find somebody who's even better, even though it doesn't seem like you can.
I agree with you on that. Yeah, yet I know there are a lot of folks, and after the break, we have singles here in the studio with us that are probably feeling like, well, there are a lot of matches out there, but there isn't really someone for me. I haven't found that person that I can really connect with. So in the Love in 90 Days method, you named it Love in 90 Days for a reason, and that's pretty rapid.
Yeah,
What is the
because it
big...
can be done. It really, really can be done in 90 days. Now, obviously, some of it depends on where you're starting. Not everybody can do it in 90 days. If you've been pretty much a hermit and you haven't been out there at all, it's going to take a little bit longer. Depends. It depends on what's been happening. But, I've had people find the love of their life in 60 days. In fact, when I did my PBS TV show, the woman who was asking for money to be sent to PBS for the pledge portion, she came to me and she was in her early 50s and she said, I have to try your product. I was going to ask for money. And she had never really been married or been in a great relationship, and within 60 days she found the great love of her life, her soulmate, and they had an amazing marriage, and that was 60 days.
Wow, what is the big game changer? Like, what was the difference for her in that moment? Is it the commitment to the process? Is it looking at it? Is it examining the dating patterns? What's the big game changer that shifts things for the people that read your book?
Well, the big game changer is actually following the step-by-step program that I mentioned. In other words, noticing the deadly dating pattern, actually working on the diamond self, she gave herself a beautiful diamond self name, and then getting out there to find and date those 3 people who are really meeting those criteria, and there are ways to position yourself through your profile, and there are ways to position yourself through your photos to attract just the right person too. So you have to know how to do that as well. That's very, very important.
I would love to get into that a little bit after the break. Before we do that, I just have to address baggage. Let's just put it all out there, Dr. Diana. We all come into relationships with some kind of baggage, something that we're bringing from the last relationships, from the last heartbreak. You must have a process for healing heartbreak so that we don't continue to repeat those negative dating patterns that are causing us pain. Tell us.
Well, the baggage, it's always great to actually have a mentor or a coach to help you process that. Because if you've been cheated on, you're going to be very wary. If the person dumped you at the altar, you're going to be very wary. And it's really great to have an actual mentor or a coach to work that out with, to help you heal. That is just very powerful. And that's something I highly recommend.
Great. Well, I highly recommend your book, Love in 90 Days. And speaking of coaches, I know you have additional resources as well as the book that if people go to lovin90days.com and purchase the book there, they'll get over $1,000 of additional resources from other coaches, and maybe that can help them find the coach. If it's not me, of course, they can find other coaches and find your method there. So I'll just repeat the website again, Love in 90, and that's the number 9 and the number 0, days with an S.com. So Dr. Diana,
they just need to click on where it says $1,000. You'll see near the top it says $1,000, and you'll be able to get your bonus gifts.
Yes, get those bonus gifts, people. Get on your way to find love in 90 days. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, Dr. Diana is sticking around with us to give some love advice to real singles about their dating situation so they can find love, hopefully, by Valentine's Day. I'm Damona Hoffman, and we'll be back in just a moment. There are over 100 million people using dating apps worldwide. So if you're not finding love there, we might have a problem. But luckily, I have the solution. I'm match dating expert Damona Hoffman, host of the groundbreaking TV series #Black Love and A Question of Love on FYI TV. And as you know, host of the Dates and Mates podcast. My dating advice has been featured in O Magazine, People Magazine, Essence Magazine, and more. I'm also a matchmaker and writer for the Washington Post Date Lab. And during my 13 years as a dating coach, I have found the secret to the perfect dating profile. I hear the same complaints. There are no good men or women online. Dating apps just don't work. I'm just really picky. And I have to be straight with you. That's not the real problem. The problem isn't the app. The problem isn't the dating pool. The problem is you don't have a profile that's attracting the right people to you. So whether you have a profile that's simply not working for you or you're overwhelmed and you don't know where to begin with creating a captivating profile that does the hard work for you, let me make online dating easy with the Profile Starter Kit. At profilestarterkit.com, I give a simple profile template to follow that works like a charm. It will work as a magnet to draw in the dates who are looking for someone just like you. How do I know? I met my husband online, and so have hundreds of people who have followed my system over the last 13 years. You can do it the hard way, or you can do it my way and let the profile attract quality dates to you. Go to profilestarterkit.com or click the link in the show notes to get started. Welcome back. I'm super excited for this special Valentine's Day episode to have singles in the building with me today. Let me introduce you to our lovely panel. Behind door number 1, we have Lauren. She says that she gets a wide assortment of men that respond from the hey, you're hot to the fascinating cerebral types who are drawn to her writing style. But she wants the good guys that have their lives together and are truly ready for a wife and kids. And to give you a little bit of background on who she is, she's the go-to energy healer behind the scenes, intuitive advisor, and she's a helper for Hollywood's elite Fortune 500 CEOs and innovative women around the world who need to move past their blocks and into the life of their dreams. She delivers rapid results. I know, I've been through her program and her total life transformation process and her breakthrough to love retreats. And she also has life-changing online group healing programs. But this is an area where now you stepped into my territory, Lauren.
Absolutely. Glad to be here.
I'm excited to hear how we can help in your dating situation right now. We also have Marquis. He is a writer. Marquis Olison's a writer, actor, entertainer, community organizer, philanthropist, improviser. I don't even have enough breath to be able to say all the things that he does. He helped build the largest phone book and the world. Well, you wrote phone book.
I can't spell.
Phone bank, yes, and he means like politically speaking. He's told Yo Mama jokes on Jimmy Kimmel Live, and all that happened. This is the catch, folks. Before he lost 180 pounds and became a yoga and fitness and lifestyle coach. So he's consulted and contracted with the Obama Foundation, Airbnb, Nextdoor, Babysitters Productions, Common Sense Media. Ladies, he's a catch. Please welcome Marquis. And last but certainly not least, Deb. Deb Whitkiss is an Emmy-winning TV producer. She's an animal lover, football fanatic, and Jersey girl who now splits her time between L.A. and Atlanta. She has worked on The Jerry Springer Show, Dr. Phil, Divorce Court, House Hunters. She also told me right before the show on Blind Date and Blind Date After Dark. So she knows some things. But in her spare time, she loves going to the beach, dancing, hanging out with her friends, and volunteering for her favorite charities. But she's basically allergic to dating, as she says, and her fingers find it hard to swipe left or right often. So that is our panel. Please give big smooches to Lauren and Deb and Marquis. Okay, so Dr. Diana is still here with us. So keeping the Love in 90 Days method in mind, I'm going to go around and have each of our panelists tell us about their biggest dating challenge right now. Marquis, what question do you have for Dr. Diana and me about dating in the modern world? Happy Valentine's Day, by the way.
Thank you. Happy Valentine's Day. You know, the question that I have is, how can I, as a successful man who doesn't have it all together, date and mate and build a family with a woman who is expecting everything to be all together?
Can you define what you mean by doesn't have it all together?
Well, like, I have my own apartment in Venice. I have 3 bedrooms that literally I don't pay rent on because, you know, I'm one of those times where people just, here, Marquis, you're here for 2 months, stay there. That happens to me. I have an office in...
Okay, but a lady doesn't... You're saying ladies don't want to go with the flow and be like, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, it's like...
Okay, I'm going to kick it over to Dr. Diana because this is a big thing, right? Women are saying they want the provider who has the 10-year plan. What can Marquis do?
Well, listen, Marquis, I mean, you know, you heard me give that advice for women that they need to find somebody who meets 3 criteria. Well, it's the same for you. So that means that, number 1, they have to be crazy about you. Number 2, they have to be willing to grow. That means that they, you know, may not like what's happening now altogether in your life, but they're willing to go with you and grow with you, right? And number 3, they have soulmate potential, right? So, you know, you're feeling this chemistry, you're feeling like, you know, there's a vision that you both get turned on to of a future that, you know, you really want. So I would not have this in your mind that, you know, somebody who has it going on is not going to want to be with you. Absolutely not. You could find an amazing partner but you want to look for those 3 criteria.
I do want to say, though, I don't have it in my mind that someone amazing doesn't want to be with me. They do. The challenge is once they get in and they understand it's not all perfect, but I do have that 10-year plan and I'm on my way and my word is gold. They're all still expecting carriage rides. And I'm like, look, we're in a hoopty until we get there.
Yeah, you know, I have to break it down. Let me speak to the ladies for a second. Hello, ladies.
Hello.
It's Damona. I meant the ladies out there, but these ladies too. I mean, if you're up for a date with Marquis. But I often hear this from women who are very successful, high-earning women, that they say, well, I need a guy who he's got to have $200,000. He's got to have the house. He's got to have this car. And they want the whole package to come to them without and they also like he can't have any baggage. He can't have kids. He can't have an ex-wife. And so this fantasy that I think we've been sold by Disney movies and rom-coms, that fantasy doesn't exist. Like, this is the real guy. This is a guy that, and I know him, this is a guy that hustles and he means what he says. When he wants to make something happen, he will. So I don't know that the problem for you, Marquis, is so much what you're doing, but I want to talk about that in a little bit once I get to the other ladies. Mm-hmm. But I want to send a PSA out to the women to just refocus what those must-haves are. Because the must-have, Dr. Diana, it's about like how he treats you, right? It's about the life that you're building together, isn't it?
Look, the thing is that love almost always comes in a surprise package. That's the real truth. And if you're holding on rigidly to some ideal, you're going to wind up with zip, nothing, no one.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you will sort everybody out. Your screen and sort everybody out. Okay, I'm going to go over to Deb. Deb, what's your burning question right now?
You know what? I just have a problem dating in general.
Tell us.
I hate online dating. I'm literally allergic to it. I like meeting someone out. Unfortunately, that doesn't happen a ton anymore, so I resort to online dating. But I feel like I just need to know how I can actually get to a date. Like, my case is giving me hugs. I struggle actually getting there. Like, these guys disappear. Like, I'm talking to them. I think this guy's great. Then, a week later, poof, he's literally gone. Like, his profile just disappears. Or he just doesn't
Let's
call,
take this in parts.
blah, blah, blah.
Let's take it in parts. Dr. Diana, I do want to address this. I don't really like dating online, and I want to meet someone in the real world first.
Yes. Well, let me tell you, there are things I call mentastic activities. Activities. Now, what are these? These are not singles events at all. What they are activities that you love and want to do, but they happen to have lots and lots of men in them. Lots and lots of men. So you're having a ball, you have something to talk about with them. Let's say you go to something having to do with sports, wine tasting, investing, artificial intelligence. You get the idea.
Yep.
Nerdy
hiking.
dude stuff. Do that.
Right. But you happen to love them. You happen to love that. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And that I feel that way. Like, it's going to come. Like, if I do what I love, then love's going to come. And I try to do that rule too, but maybe I'm just not going to where as many men hang out.
So let's talk
where there's a high ratio of guys to women.
Yes.
So it has to be two. There's two things. One, you've got to love it. And number two, there's got to be a lot of guys there.
Yes.
Got it.
Yes, it has to be authentic. Okay, so let's break down the second part of Deb's dilemma. Deb's dilemma. The communication piece. That's a big issue right now of people ghosting, disappearing, not wanting to move offline. And I know you said you have those 3 pillars that you look for, but what if she's just getting stuck, not even being able to move offline?
Well, the thing is, you have to understand that 49% of the people who have actually shown interest in you will disappear. 49%. So you don't want to take that personally ever. You never want to take that personally. Otherwise, you get burnt out. So the idea is to just keep on going. And that when you hit people who are crazy about you, they hang in there. They will hang in there. But you have to go through a lot of duds, what I call duds, to get to the studs.
Yes, you got to kiss those frogs.
Right? It does take a lot of time, though.
That is the thing, though, Deb. It does take time.
And I'm super busy.
I often say date like it's your job, but how do you get anything done in your daily life, in your busy life? You chunk the time out, right? Mm-hmm. You say, okay, this is the time that I'm at work, and this is the time that I'm working out. You look like you work out. I don't know. So you make the time for that. You prioritize it. But I think we've been sold this bill of goods that love is supposed to just fall in our lap. Mm-hmm. When I see, Dr. Diana, that when you put in the effort, when you commit for 90 days, like you're in your book, and you make that the primary focus for that period of time, that's when things start to shift. Would you agree?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. That's when it all happens. You can't, be in this situation. You think, oh, if it's meant to be, it's going to happen. It's almost like saying, if I was meant to have muscles, it would just happen. I wouldn't have to go to the gym.
I didn't.
Stop. Marquis is saying he didn't.
I can't see you, Marquis, but
well, I think it's true also in dating. Like there are people that have the genetic gifts for men to fall at their feet, and then there's all the rest of us, everyone else. But Lauren, I know you're online, and you don't have a shortage of. You have a great. I've seen your profile. You have a great profile. Guys are coming in, but they're not the right guys for you. Would that be your biggest dating dilemma right now?
Exactly. Yeah, it's like a part-time job, answering messages. There's always flow, and there are different kinds of men. But I've seen a lot of I call it the mystery of the body snatchers.
Ooh.
I've had these strangest experiences. I've even had a date where a man waited 6 weeks to take me on a date. We went on this date. He was lovely. The waiter was like, wow, you guys are so connected. And after the date, he put down 2 Benjamins. He ordered all the food. I went to the restroom, came back, and he was going to walk me out to my car. And he had already gotten the second date, and he was gone. He literally disappeared from the restaurant.
He just paid and left while you were in the bathroom.
Yeah, the waiter came up and said, oh, you guys are really going to make it. And I said, well, that's fabulous. Where is he?
Okay, that's unexpected.
It is. There have been some really strange occurrences where, there have been people who've pursued me over time. But at a certain point, it's almost as if they've been body snatched. I would love some insight on that.
Dr. Diana, where is that? She's looking for the good guys, and she wants a guy that is looking for a wife and kids. That's the life that she wants. She's pretty clear on that. But who are these shapeshifters?
Okay, number one, what's really interesting is that there's very clear research on the marrying kind of man. There's very clear research on the marrying kind of man. The marrying kind of man comes from an intact family. The parents have not divorced, right? And he comes from a family that actually goes to church, believe it or not, and he himself has some inclination in actually pursuing something spiritual or going to church, that kind of thing. He also
how about temple? Is temple okay?
Yeah, same
okay.
thing. Yeah. Temple. So there's a religious practice involved. There's stability in the background. And also they tend to agree with the statement that marriage is a good thing. Now, it's fascinating because you will see that if you kind of casually explore that with guys, you will see that you meet a guy who has that kind of background. He's going to be much more what you want, Lauren, much, much more. In fact, I'm excited to tell you this because it's like something you can actually find out pretty rapidly. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Oh, your parents, tell me about your parents, blah, blah, blah.
Wait, I want to just take a moment to settle on one statement that you made, that they believe that marriage is a good thing, because I think we don't have too much control over our parents' dating relationship history, right? But I want to know, like, Marquis, since you're the lone guy in the studio right now.
Yeah, I'm making all kind of faces. I'm like, I'm the marrying type. And
but-
if you looked at my
but
family background,
But do you believe that statement, that marriage is a good thing?
I think that marriage, what we have to do is a marriage is a type of contract that our government put in place. And what you want to do is to find a commitment with that person that the contract don't matter. You want to say, you're the person I want to wake up with every single day. And I choose that every single day. I don't need the government to tell me that. If you need a piece of paper to tell you that, fine.
So if I'm reading between the lines, is that a no?
No, what I'm saying
Did
is...
we just...
what I'm saying is,
prove Dr. Diana's point?
if you read... I'm halfway through Becoming, and what was a hard point between Barack Obama and Michelle Obama is she's like, I want to get married. And he's like, I want to be next to you every single day. If you need a piece of paper, okay. She wanted him to want to get married, and he's like, I will marry you. Why ain't that enough?
Well, but she did have to she had to invest a lot of time. I
he
too
was
am reading
saying-
that book right now. She had to invest a few years before she got to that point. And they were also pretty young. They were like in their mid-20s. So
But he was
if
making-
we're like, look, so just in the interest of time, we're talking love in 90 days. If Lauren wants to accelerate that process, that is one method for culling the pool so that you're not spending time. Like, time is your most valuable resource, and if you're spending it on the wrong dates.
And definitely, Lauren, I want you to date 3 people at the same time and quickly sorting through them.
Do you do that?
I do. I
Okay.
called it gold, silver, and bronze. I do
Yes,
that.
good.
The problem
Yeah, rank
is
order them.
that they tend to fall in love very quickly. Like I will have, this week alone, I had 2 men ask me for exclusivity, and I'm trying to figure out what to do. So it's a little tricky because you really do need time to get to know them. And yet there is this feeling like they're almost offended that you do want that time, or that you are looking at other people as well. When in
Sometimes
reality, you're just trying to get the information and you're trying to let the natural flow grow.
Well, that's a pattern, isn't it, Dr. Diana? Because that was not my pattern. Like, guys were not like waiting to profess their love to me and lock me down.
There's a lot of love bombs.
I can't imagine.
Yep.
But anyways, it seems like that's her pattern. And so letting them push her too fast, too soon could be one of the things that needs to shift in her new 90-day dating plan, right, Dr. Diana?
Yeah, absolutely. I would want you to just absolutely stay the course. And the way you actually let somebody know that you're going to continue staying the course with your dating program of 3 is you give them a sandwich of a great compliment and the news that you're going to take things slow, and then a great compliment again. So you might say, listen, Jeff, I can't imagine liking anybody as much as you. I mean, oh my God, I laughed so hard last night. It was unbelievable at that comedy show. I just can't imagine liking anybody as much as you. But I just have to let you know, I made myself a promise that I'm taking things slow in dating this time around. I'll be seeing people a little more casually. But as I say, I can't imagine liking anybody as much as you.
What do you think about that, Lauren? Is that something you can do?
I will definitely try it. I'd like to see how that goes over.
Sometimes the
Well, the
hard
winner
conversations.
guys find that as like catnip. The winner guys are like, I'll win you. I'll win you.
I can imagine.
No.
I can imagine that might work.
Because the winner guys say, you've told us that if we are too persistent, it's like stalking, and that's not what we're supposed to do now. So we hear no, and I say okay.
But that
And walk
wasn't a
away.
no. That wasn't a no. That was a
No.
no.
I'm
That was
asking you to
I'm taking it
commit.
slow. I mean, how long have you been dating these guys?
3 weeks.
3 weeks. That's very fast.
And how long should that go on? That kind of dating 3 individuals.
I would like to see at least 2 months of consistently improving contact before you actually go into exclusivity. At least 2 months.
Okay.
Okay, slow it down. Slow love.
Like when you're saying you're dating 3 people are at the same time, are you like seeing them? Are you just texting them? Like, what's the criteria of
You're actually
dating?
seeing them. You're having
Going
dates.
out. That's
Okay.
dating.
Having
No,
dates.
texting is texting. Dating is dating. I'm glad that you brought that
Yeah,
up
'cause
because
I
we have
don't-
to clarify. And I do, before we have to go, we have to wrap in a minute, but I feel like I want to get a little bit more advice for Deb as well. And Dr. Diana, I also promised that I would give some online dating tips. I mean, I talk about this ad nauseum, but since this is our Valentine's Day special, I want to hear what online dating and swiping tips you can give to Deb to help her find a little bit more joy in this process.
Well,
I'm all ears.
it's important. First of all, your photo is everything, right? In terms of really having a bunch of people to choose from. Research shows that if you're wearing red, kind of a red scoop top, men
Like
rate
Dr.
towards more
Diana
beautiful.
has.
If you're looking at the camera and smiling really beautifully, you're rated as more beautiful. You let your diamond self pop come through, and that's very important. And then in your profile, you want to lead with your qualities that are most engaging and inviting, your warmth, your joie de vivre, your laugh, your that kind of thing. And and don't be afraid to be real at the end of the profile, where you give your vision. What I'm up to is I'm creating an unbelievably exciting future with kids and this and that. And that's what I want. Give the vision at the end. What's your vision? If this resonates, message me. So creating your vision is very compelling, very exciting, very interesting, and will bring the right people.
I 100% agree. Does that resonate for you, creating that vision?
It absolutely does. I think right now I have done with the players, like that type of thing, right? Which is a little bit...
That pushes away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
if they see that's what you're up to, they're like, no.
I'm like, done with the players, but no, I understand, like, being more detailed and to be a little bit more emotional in what I'm looking for instead of saying,
and
I
also
don't want to hit it and quit it.
Right. And also not being afraid to say what you want. I think a lot of people are afraid to express, right, Dr. Diana?
Absolutely. They're interested in being cool. Whoa.
Yes. I don't want to come on too strong.
I don't want to come on too strong.
Yeah. And I just had a client that emailed me today, and she said, would it be okay to say in my profile, I'm interested in getting to know someone, dating someone casually until we are moving towards a serious relationship. And I'm like, what? Let's cut out the middleman. Let's just go right to the serious relationship, because there are guys that will read the casually dating and not take it too serious at the beginning and think that phase can extend forever. If your end goal is really marriage and kids and family and that whole thing, say it up front, truth in advertising. And that's why I always say love as you are. Be who you are. Don't be afraid to say what you're really looking for or what you're really about, because that will attract the right person to you and repel the wrong ones that Lauren has continually gotten. So I'd be happy to take a look at your profile after the show as well. I know Dr. Diana has a lot of resources that would also help you with that at loveiN90days.com. Dr. Diana, I want to thank you so much for sharing your insights with us. And I'm really excited for this 10-year anniversary of your book, Love in 90 Days.
Well, thank you so much. This has been fantastic. And I know you three are going to have awesome relationships.
I believe it. And thank you for sharing the hope from your relationship and what we can all hope to achieve in long-term connection and partnership. That's it for episode 245 of Dates and Mates. Tell me your relationship and dating troubles. You can get the Profile Starter Kit at profilestarterkit.com. And you can also email me, send me your questions, and they may end up on a future show, Damona@DamonaHoffman.com. You can also call me at 424-246-6255 or DM me. I'm on all the social medias at Damona Hoffman. I also want to give a big thanks to my single panel, Lauren Rock and Deb Whitkus and Marquis Olson. Thank you so much for being here and for sharing your dating challenges. I know a lot of people at home are in the same space, and you opening up and sharing a little bit of yourself may inspire them to do the same in dating. Thank you for listening, and we'll be back again next week with more love advice. Until then, I wish you happy dating.